NFL Cuts 2025. Live updates as teams set initial 53-man rosters for season. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. For many NFL teams, Tuesday's roster cut-down deadline marks perhaps the biggest hurdle remaining before preparation for the regular season begins in earnest. For hundreds of players, however, the paring down can mark a painful end of the line. Established starters and early draft picks typically have nothing to fear as teams set their initial 53-man rosters, but the culmination of the preseason schedule necessarily leads to some disappointment and difficult decisions. Some long-shot bids will officially come to an end, but those who set out to scrape for a spot at the end of the roster are signing up for a transient lifestyle, and this might just be the first, or latest, in a series of setbacks. But hope remains, as any notion of finality with the cutdowns is quickly dispelled by additional waiver moves, trades and practice squad transactions in the coming days, weeks, and months. With several teams making cuts, check back for all the latest on the notable moves with USA Today Sports live blog on the biggest roster moves. Dolphins roster cuts. CB Mike Hilton released. The Miami Dolphins reshuffled secondary won't include a veteran added in late July to provide support. The team is releasing Mike Hilton, the cornerback's agents told ESPN. Hilton, 31, was signed to boost depth in the slot after Kader Kohou, the lone returning starter in the secondary, suffered a torn anterior cruciate ligament. A longtime standout for both the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cincinnati Bengals, he collected 13 interceptions in the last 8 years, during which he also started 56 games. Fifth-round rookie Jason Marshall Jr. now could be in line to take over the nickel role. Offensive tackle Jalen McKenzie was also waived, according to ESPN. Lions roster cuts. QB clarity coming. Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes don't expect to keep any Detroit Lions players twisting in the wind, as the team plans to make the bulk of its cuts by end of day Monday. There could be a couple that we don't get to, maybe last minute tomorrow, Campbell said Monday. But that is what it is, and there's nothing easy about it, and it's worse on them than it is us. I mean, it's hard on us, but there's no woe is me, hey. I feel sorry for those guys. But at the same token, what I would tell them, man, use this as fuel and move on to the next step of this. The spot most closely monitored for Detroit is at backup quarterback, where journeyman Kyle Allen appears to have taken a lead on Hendon Hooker, the 2023 third-round draft pick, who has played sparingly and struggled this summer. After the preseason finale, Campbell appeared to leave the door open to the team moving on from Hooker in some form. How much development do you believe there is? Campbell said, "We're talking about Hooker right now. How much development do you believe there still is? Sometimes, does the player need a change of scenery?" Cowboys roster cuts. A surprise in store. First-year Dallas Cowboys coach Brian Schottenheimer created the kind of stir that boss man Jerry Jones would appreciate when he suggested last week that the team could throw a curveball or two come cut-down time. "We'll sit down after we play Friday and we'll make some decisions about the entire roster," Schottenheimer said last Monday. "There will probably be some surprises from some of the mock things that are out there in terms of, hey, I thought for sure this guy was gonna make it." There don't appear to be many mysteries for a team that sat a huge number of starters and key contributors in the finale, though embattled 2023 first-round defensive tackle Mazi Smith among those still in action. Schottenheimer said Saturday that the positions giving Dallas decision-makers the most trouble were cornerback, wide receiver, linebacker, and defensive end. No surprise here, though. Offensive tackle La'el Collins, a former linchpin of the offensive line who signed with the team just this month, was cut Sunday, per multiple reports. Eagles roster cuts. Dorian Thompson-Robinson out as QB shuffle continues. Howie Roseman is never one to stand pat at a key moment for roster building. That aggressive mentality was on full display this weekend, as the executive vice president and general manager of the Philadelphia Eagles executed a slew of moves. The most notable decision might be the reworking of his quarterback room. With backup Tandem Key still sidelined by a finger injury, Roseman swung a trade with the Minnesota Vikings to acquire Sam Howell. That led Sunday to the official ouster of Thompson-Robinson, who was acquired in the Kenny Pickett trade but looked unlikely to stick around after battling fifth-round rookie Kyle McCord for the presumed number 3 job. Buccaneers roster cuts. Shiloh Sanders gets the boot, but could he return? Shiloh Sanders went down fighting, literally, in Tampa. The Buccaneers on Sunday waived the undrafted rookie free agent safety from Colorado, just one day after Sanders was ejected from Saturday's preseason finale against the Buffalo Bills for throwing a punch against tight end Zach Davidson. Buccaneers coach Todd Bowles made his stance clear on Sanders' action, calling it inexcusable in his post-game remarks. But Bowles has been largely complimentary of the young defensive back, leaving open the question of whether he could land back on the Bucs practice squad if he goes unclaimed. Shiloh is very aggressive, very young, and very hungry, Bowles said last week. He can make plays in the box and run down to give us 100% on special teams. Browns roster cuts, Tyler Huntley out, but 4QB approach seems to be a go. The Cleveland Browns are never short on quarterback news. On Sunday, the team announced it had released Tyler Huntley, along with 3 other veterans and 17 players who were waived. Yet things appear to be clear for the Browns to keep their quartet of quarterbacks, starter Joe Flacco, veteran Kenny Pickett, and rookies Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, on the 53-man roster, with general manager Andrew Berry indicating as much during his team's preseason finale against the Los Angeles Rams. Honestly, it's not much of a decision for us, Berry told Chris Rose and Joe Thomas on the Browns broadcast, per the Akron Beacon-Journal. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share. Till next time.